Okay, awesome, awesome. So what I want to do is I want to introduce my clients here, Zach and Jen Stoltenberg. So they're down in, are they in North Carolina? North Carolina. And they've been clients of ours for almost 2 years now. So when I first started working with them, brand new, like they weren't doing a lot with investing in finances, and they've just blossomed. Like I just want to read a success story that they gave us, and then we're going to give them some time to share kind of their story and answer some questions. So this is them in front of the Vanderbilt mansion, which I thought was really fitting and really cool. I'm going to zoom that in so you guys can see how big that mansion is. So they went and toured that, I think, this past year. And so they said, Wealth Dynamics has helped us become more educated and financially aware, which has allowed us to save and invest more money than ever in the last year. Now we think with abundance and have confidence to achieve financial independence earlier rather than waiting until we're age 60. And again, they own several services with us, but we're going to kind of go into what they started with, how they started, and what they're doing right now. So can we hear them on the mics?
Hello?
Hi.
There's a bit of a delay. Kind of a lag there.
Okay, fine.
All right, can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So thanks for hopping on tonight. So I had a couple of questions I wanted to go over with you guys. But I wanted to like just kind of share with us and with everyone watching, like just a little bit about your story, where you guys were at before working with us, and kind of how you came onto finances and got interested in that.
Yeah, so actually about 3 years ago, I graduated from college, and that's actually when we actually had gotten married. Not too long after that, I actually had tried to get into real estate with real estate investing, with, you know, flipping and stuff like that. And actually with that in school, put me in a little bit of debt. And now Jen is actually in med school right now. So she's putting us, you know, in a little more debt with the opportunity, you know, to make more money. And I actually started following Grant probably about 2.5, 3 years ago. You liked what he said about needing to, you know how to sell, increase your income, and looking at, you know, how to create wealth and how to, you know, create, you know, basically, you know, financial freedom. And I actually had hopped on a call with you, you know, liked what you know, talked about, what you believed in. It kind of fit well with me. And that's kind of what started our journey.
That's awesome. Now, okay, am I off mute now?
Yes.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay, awesome. So Jen, for you, what was kind of like your background with like becoming more interested in finances? Was it something you guys were both interested in? Was it something Zach was more interested in and then brought you in, or was it something you were more interested in and then ended up bringing Zach in?
Definitely Zach bringing me in. I guess I grew up with a lot of the myths that you were talking about earlier. And so I just kind of saved whatever money I had growing up. But as far as an interest in finances, I didn't really develop that as much as I have now until Zach really started getting me into it. And we started, you know, learning a little bit more from you and reading some of the books. So yeah, took a little bit of education and encouraging by Zach to get me into it, but definitely more interested in it now.
And then how did you guys end up finding us? How did you come across our content, Zach?
So I was actually at the time when I was working, probably about 2 years ago, I was working, and I had the opportunity to listen to probably almost one of every single, you know, Grant's podcasts and stuff like that. And I had seen Wealth Dynamics, and I was like, wow, you know I'm really interested in, you know, different, you know, the kind of untraditional kind of wealth and stuff like that, and ways to create it. And I just shot you an email, got on a call, and that's kind of how I got connected.
Cool. And then do you remember, if you think back, what was the thing that really made you decide, hey, this is the firm we want to work with. These are the people we want to actually have help us?
I think that definitely the education part was interesting to us. Obviously, I'm big on education, being in med school. But I also like that you encourage everyone to know themselves and not just you telling your clients like you should just do this and not telling them why necessarily, but giving good explanation that makes sense to me and encouraging us to like understand it ourselves before just jumping into something, and, you know, understanding what we're getting ourselves into is definitely something. And The other one is you have such a, I guess, personal connection. I mean, you're always answering questions. I know you're always answering Zach's questions. He has plenty. But the fact that you're always there, you're always following up with us, asking us how we're doing, asking how things are going, stuff like that really kind of caught our attention when we were talking to you, and we've been working with you for the last 2 years. So
That's awesome. And what are some of the things that you guys have really accomplished, you feel like, since working with us, and then kind of the experiences that you've had as clients that have been wins for you or positive?
I would say the biggest thing is having an I'd probably say having an abundance mentality. You know, in so much of the world, you know, there's so much scarcity of, you know, there's not enough of this and that. And I think having that mentality, and also I would really just say understanding, you know, how money works, and really just educating ourselves, you know, how that we can, you know, create wealth and, you know, make it last.
A different answer for each of you. What would you say is your biggest win as a client? You had to pick one like major win you've had.
I think for us, it's probably just a perspective thing. I mean, we obviously don't have like massive amounts of income that we are bringing in right now and investing in, like, you know, big deals like that. But being, you know, in med school and knowing we're bringing in all of that debt, I guess it's the perspective of holding that abundance, you know, trying to keep investing in ourselves, even though we have such a big debt, I guess, kind of hanging over us in a sense. But yeah, so I think I guess that's probably the best.
Yeah.
Biggest one we've had is that change in perspective, and not just feeling scarce about like, crap, we have a huge debt that we have to pay back, and just holding on to everything, but feeling encouraged to invest in ourselves and kind of have a plan for the future, how we're going to pay that back and invest for the future.
That's good. And then what would you say is the thing you've learned, like the biggest learn you guys have had?
I mean, I would say it kind of all really, I think I'd probably say two things. I think it comes back to like the thinking more abundantly. I know that was one thing when I had listened to Grant, and then when I had started, you know, working with you guys, is that, you know, it's not just about, you know, oh, I can't do this, but there's always a way to, you know, I guess find a solution. And I'd say the second thing would be really just how money works, and how I know Jen read quite a bit of The Creature of Jekyll Island, and now whenever her friends are talking about, you know, debt and this and that, whatever, like she just almost kind of laughs, because it's like, you know, everything's, you know, it's just a big game.
Yeah, definitely.
So kind of my perspective on what we've been able to do with Zach and Jen. When we first started working with you guys, I remember it was really the education and increasing income and focusing on that, and the progress of then going into things like saving. Recently doing your first investment deal, they did one of the 50K deals we talked about at that threshold. So like seeing actual progress has been really cool to watch you guys in a linear fashion, and that's why we wanted to recognize you as leading by example. But what's next for you guys? What's the next target that you guys want to be able to accomplish financially, looking back at what we've done so far?
And I mean, there's, I guess, so much. I know for me personally, I mean, I want to really just be able to increase my income, and, you know, really, you know, be able to increase even passive income, especially, you know, with Jen being in school. I mean, she still has a few more years before she's able to work and, you know, make income. So I'd say the biggest thing, I mean, within the next couple of years, I mean, I'd like to, you know, be able to double, you know, what passive income that we, you know, have coming in now with investments, and just